Serious, what is one question you'd like to ask a minority group, cultural, social, sexual, etc., out of sincere curiosity, but have been unable to do so for fear of seeming socially or culturally insensitive and receiving harsh reprisal or consequences? I'm qualified to answer this, I guess. I spent a lot of time in Utah for things not related to polygamy, but I learned a lot about those communities. The husband rarely, if ever, sleeps with more than one wife at once. All of the wives sleep in one or more rooms in different beds, except for the head wife. She's normally the oldest or favorite. She also keeps the others in line. Bickering, etc. is allowed, but not in front of the husband. I live in southern Utah and see lots of polygamists around here. Do any of you ever sleep with more than one wife at the same time? What about literally sleeping? Do you have a bed per wife, or is there like a shack-sized bed somewhere? Also, how do you manage jealousy between spouses if it exists?
Hey guys, much like you, I love reading people's stories on Ask Reddit. Unfortunately, there's a lot of weird middle school level, just thought experiment type hypotheticals like nice try Baskin Robbins. I don't find this compelling, so that's why I've made it my mission to trawl and crawl through Ask Reddit and find the very best content and put it in your ears. That's why I'm begging you, like and subscribe. If there's anything I can do to help you out, give you the kind of content that you crave to help you get through your workday, let me know in a comment. But please like and subscribe.
Does light skin versus dark skin black racism exist? One of my Navy buddies was dark, and he always used to make fun of the light-skinned black guys, but I never knew if he was being serious or not. Till colorism is a thing that is separate from racism. Thanks for the enlightenment, Reddit. I have a friend from Rwanda and he is literally an African American. I have heard a few black people say that since they were born in America, they just want to be referred to as black or black American. We have African Americans like Elon Musk or Charlize Theron that aren't what people picture when hearing that term. Then there are Americans that moved here from Haiti, Jamaica, Brazil, etc. that are black but not African. As a fan of MMA, I have heard Paul Daly, a black British athlete, referred to as African American even though he is neither African nor American. So I have two questions. First, is African American any better than just black? And to black African Americans, does that term ever feel divisive or like it relates you to a continent that you've never experienced? I know my ancestors were Irish, but I am 5th or 6th generation American and don't have any sort of connection to Ireland. I just feel like a plain old American. Would it be better if we just treated black people similarly like plain old Americans? For the record, I have no problem calling people African American if that's what they prefer. But it feels a little uncomfortable for me to assume. I usually just say black. Do you consider that offensive? I don't want to offend anyone. You're putting the adjective before the person. Source: I work with individuals with intellectual disabilities. We never say intellectually disabled individuals. You're a person first. This concept is called person-first language, which is taught in basic psychology classes and in all trainings when working with individuals with intellectual disabilities and various other human services fields. Do Asians know what nationality other Asians are just by looking at them? For instance, I can't tell if a white guy is American, German, or Russian just by looking at him. Can an Asian tell if someone is Chinese or Japanese or Korean, etc. just by looking at someone? Or are you stuck in the same boat as the rest of us? Not black, but I'm in medical school. Yes, black people can get sunburned. It's much easier for fair-skinned people to get sunburned, and that's why skin cancer is much more common among Caucasians, but people of any race can still get sunburned and get skin cancer. Not a midget, but I am 411. There is a very large woman at my work who farts constantly in my workspace. I feel like I am being gassed to death. Anytime I ask anyone else, they say they don't smell it, so I'm guessing I just smell it because I'm closer to her asshole. Height-wise, yes and no. There's certain facial features, fashion styles, and other sorts of cues that can cue you in, but there's also a lot of overlap, so it does get difficult to know more often than not. There's also a lot of countries in Asia, and if you don't come from China, Japan or Korea, sometimes people forget that others even exist. I've had both Asians and non-Asians guess I'm everything from Chinese to Cambodian. Only other Filipinos seem to be able to guess my ethnicity right away. Gay men, what's up with the gay voice? Is it something that you consciously do? Is it a way of showing off your sexual preference? Can't think of the right term. Have you always had the voice, or does it happen as you come out or realize that you're gay? Family of gay men, when did you notice the change in their voice?
I turned 36 this year, and I decided to focus on my physical fitness, so I bought a swim club membership. The only problem was, most of the time when I go swimming, I wind up getting an ear infection. So it turns out that normal earplugs, they kind of irritate your ear canal, they don't really work, they don't keep the water out. But there is an amazing kind of earplug called Mack's Pillow Soft Silicone earplugs that, they feel great, they keep the water out 100%, they're reusable, and they don't irritate your ear canal at all, no issues. If you've ever had a severe ear infection, you don't want to experience that again. It can permanently damage your hearing if you're unlucky. So investing in these earplugs is definitely a good idea. Also, when my baby was crying later this year and I could not get to sleep, I used the same earplugs and they worked great. I was able to sleep right next to a crying baby. So be sure to click my affiliate link and purchase some of these Mack's earplugs today.
They're called pay it. It's one of the commandments not to shave the corners of the head. Not sure if this area of head has some sort of symbolic meaning that makes it significant. I also read it might be due to an obligation to distinguish yourself from idol worshippers, as this was a common practice amongst them in the biblical times. I think only growing out the sideburns, and particularly curling them, is just the custom of certain communities. Having generally long hair would also meet the biblical criteria. If you're interested, Jews are also not meant to shave their beards with a razor blade due to the religious significance of the beard. Muslims, what is your opinion on homosexuals and people who leave Islam? I have a friend who is Muslim, and in a conversation about gay marriage, suddenly comes out with they should all be stoned. I hope he is a minority, but considering the laws in some Muslim-majority countries, probably not. For me, it's not something I consciously picked up, but I can consciously put it on or off. I think I mostly got it because I spent a lot of time hanging out with girls as a kid. I don't have brothers, most of my cousins are girls, and I was too afraid to talk to boys as a kid. Then I quickly learned to hide it in elementary school because my classmates and older family members made it very clear it was unacceptable for me to talk that way. I live in a somewhat conservative area and work in a warehouse, so I still consciously hide it, but when I'm with my non-work friends, I feel comfortable enough to drop the act and sound gay. Sometimes I also put it on when I'm in more middle-class settings because it somewhat masks my redneck Canadian accent. Not great at explaining, but I give it a shot. Basically, it just means the lack of sexual attraction. Like you look at people and think about having sex with them or something. Some asexuals are sex positive, indifferent, or sex repulsed. They don't even want to think about it nor have it. If a person doesn't have romantic attraction, they are called aromantics. 25 of the asexuals are also aromantic, but most of them aren't. If you want to know more, check into raciality or hair. We're not fucked, and it's not as bad as the media is making it out to be. What annoys me is that people in the rest of the world say, oh, if I was white in SAW, I'd emigrate. For most of us, South African passports are worthless, and we no longer qualify for British YouTubers' passports. Third and fourth generation white South Africans are South Africans, not Brits or Dutch living in SAW. Unless you have an in-demand skill, good luck getting a working visa to another country. I taught alternative ed in Metro Detroit, and some of the students used to joke about it. Dark skin field slave. Medium skin house slave. Light skin bitch you fucking the owner. Those were some of my favorite students ever, and holy shit were they funny. Like, funny in a I'd better not get seen laughing at that or I'm going to get in trouble type of way. But yeah, black racism is subtle, but it's a thing. Non-Americans, do you have a pejorative phrase that mocks how American English sounds? For example, Americans made up ching chong ling long ting tong to mock how Chinese sounds. Disclaimer, I know non-Americans are not a minority, but let me have this one. I am an Arab, but not Muslim. I am, however, surrounded with a lot of Muslims. Since I live in a Western country, a lot of people don't exactly think that they should be stoned, but almost all of the people I've met say that it is wrong and that they may beat someone up should they be gay. He is unfortunately not a minority. This is why I'm not too big on Islam. My dad has even received death threats for calling my dog a part of the family and giving him our last name. Arab. Take this with a grain of salt, but I see a lot of posts about it on social media. There's a stereotype of a loud, dark-skinned woman versus a quiet, feminine, light-skinned woman that's pretty common on television, even in a show I used to watch called The Proud Family. I think a famous actress also turned down a role for Black Panther because she thought a dark-skinned actress should have the role. See a lot of comments saying it's not so bad, and I used to be the same up until I realized that South Africans are extremely desensitized to the violence here. Let me run down a list of what's happened in my 24 years of life that I always accepted as extremely normal, and then you can judge for yourself. Age 9, lived in a rich neighborhood a block away from a police station where we could hear inmates being raped nightly. Gunshots in front of our house. Inmate jumped our wall, Dad chased him, both covered in blood. Mom pulls out her Glock, 2 officers jump our wall, Dad grabs hold of the inmate halfway up the neighbor's wall. Age 10, 2 friends and 10-yo in school get shot in their mom's car for a Nokia 3310. Mom had gone inside to see why the gate wasn't working. Age 11, best friend has their front gate rammed open by a speeding van. 3 guys with X jump out and fire down the driveway at them. Dad retaliates. They eventually stalemate. Houseka jungle gym layered with bulletholes. They moved to Georgia safer, smaller town. Age 12. We moved to George as well after my dad gets shot at on his petrol station premises. He ran after robbers who had just robbed him when he came back from the bank, thinking they were shooting blanks, only to notice bullet holes in his clothes. The next day, best friend in George get their house pumped with gas while they slept and robbed of all their electronics. Apparently they burnt CDs as it creates some kind of knockout gas. Best friend's sister actually woke up and acted asleep while her belongings were being stolen. Age 13, get mugged twice. Best friends move houses. Within 3 months their new house gets burgled. 2 months later they immigrate to New Zealand. Age 14, Dad buys new petrol station where previous owner was shot to death with a shotgun on the premises. I have photos of the door and blood stains back Egypt somewhere. Age 18, go to university. My security gate on my apartment inside a security estate gets chiseled open. Car window gets smashed 3 times. Age 19, move to a safer area. Bike gets stolen, and then subsequently my apartment gets broken into. Age 21, the day before I move into a new house, all the water pipes, electrical wiring and sockets get ripped out the walls. House floods. Spent 3 months living in a construction zone for a new house. Age 22, July 1st, 2024. After the above, come back after a short trip to visit my parents to find my house broken into, valuables stolen, shit and piss everywhere, toilet clogged and filled with maggots, everything I own gone. I hire a security guard, and that night we catch the invaders coming back, arrest 3. Eventually they get off scot-free after going to courthouse. Goes into construction mode again. Insurance pays out. One morning I wake up at 5:45 am. Go to my front door. Busy unlocking my security gate when my dog's tail starts wagging as if someone is nearby. I freeze. Move to my window and look out. Lo and behold, there are 4 fingers gripping the wall. Someone is waiting for me to unlock. It's in my yard and has bypassed both electric fencing and sharp steel walls. I yell at him, "Folk off, pose." What's so J-hire, which is a friendly greeting amongst peers, and then he comes out from behind the wall holding a Erkmpanga knife. Tells me he is here to catch a burglar behind my house. Cute story. I call the cops and he vacates quickly. A week later, a girl gets abducted down the road. Same age as me. Also going to my university. Hannah. Cornelius. Her body is found, was raped and stabbed to death by 2 men. Mom calls me. There's a mob in my hometown shooting off acts and burning all the buses down. Asked me to stay at my place to be safe. Lol. I have more stories, but I don't think anyone is even going to read these. There are a lot of good YouTube videos detailing so high-stakes chase arrests in South Africa. I know other countries have it bad too. But I know South Africans have a tendency to believe they can deal with everything and anything that comes their way, so it never seems as bad as it is to us. When I speak to internationals about this, I get a better sense of what normal is.
This year, like I said, I'm having a midlife crisis. I've started a YouTube channel and I'm on a big health kick. One thing that I found is very easy to eat, very easy to prepare, is I heat up chickpeas with chicken broth and tikka masala. And there are 2 schools of thought about how you should eat beans. Some people believe you should buy the dry beans and soak them, but I tried that and it was a disaster. So I buy canned beans every time. And if I'm opening like 2 cans a day to be on this diet, it is a massive pain in the ass if the can has this jagged metal edge. I'm worried if like little bits of metal are getting into my food, I'm going to slice up my intestines. So I found this special can opener that actually opens the can in a way that is completely safe, no metal's getting in your food, and it is 1,000 times better than any other can opener I've ever used. So if you wind up, opening a lot of cans for whatever reason, maybe you've got a cat or something, you must buy this can opener from my affiliate link.
I used to be good friends with my corner store guy, and because of time differences in America and India, there were only certain times in the day where they could call their families. My current boss is Indian too though, and it seems like he spends at least an hour each day on the phone with what I assume would just be family or friends. I always want to ask post-op MTF transsexuals if they miss being able to pee standing up. The times I have asked, I received various answers, ranging from no, it's an aspect of masculinity that I was able to leave behind, or yeah, I hike a lot and would love the ability. Dark-skinned people are tougher and light-skinned people are soft. In the media, light-skinned people are portrayed as the more attractive of black people. Look at most black couples in television or film and you'll notice that the women are usually lighter toned. I would like to know how people who weigh herbs use bathrooms. There's got to be times when you can't always get back to your own home to take care of business. How do you reach to wipe properly? Or do you not and just make sure to shower as soon as you get home? I think if you know what specific country your family is from, you'd use that instead of the broader African American term. My friend is second-gen Nigerian American, but prefers to just be called black. I have no idea about my ancestry beyond slavery and don't mind being called African American or black. Whatever you do, please say black people instead of the blacks. Ugh, makes me cringe every time.
Do you have any idea how convenient it is to use a Keurig machine for brewing coffee or tea? Personally, I gave up coffee a long time ago, but I was able to get a great, delicious cup of coffee in just seconds with no cleanup, no extra work using a Keurig machine and a K-cup. And now I use my Keurig machine to brew tea, loose leaf tea, every day that I drink. And I also use it to make oatmeal and, anything else that you can put hot water into. So if you don't have a Keurig machine in your house, you're missing out. Try my affiliate link below in the description of the video, and you too can enjoy a great cup of coffee in seconds, any time of day.